Alrighty guys, let's keep going. Let's talk about the list views. Okay, so I'm over here. I just have a normal page again, just the section. I got all the scripts and CSS thrown in there. Okay, got my first page. I'm not going to do a second page or a third or fourth with this one because it's just I'm going to show you all the different things you can do with the list in the one page. I don't need to have multiple pages here. So I'll change that to list views. Okay, so the majority of everything I'm doing here is going to be in the content class here. Okay, so let's get going. So I'm going to throw a header in here and I'm going to say, this is just going to be a normal list view. So come down here, we'll do an unordered list. Now, the way you basically, get the framework to get going. You kick in the framework is you got data role, okay, and it's going to be list view. Okay, and then you just start throwing in things like you would any other list. So this is the normal one. I do want to show you what it looks like if you throw a link in here. So this is going to be the link list item. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so that's what they look like. So there's the H2, normal list view. To be honest, I think it ignores the H's. Like if I'm going to shrink that down, I can't even tell if that went smaller. I think it did. I thought before I was playing around with that and it was messing with the H's. Yeah, okay, yeah, it does make it a little bigger. All right. Anyway, so the normal one just looks like this. Okay. And then the link, it puts the icon here. And this kind of makes you think if you were to click on it, right, it would slide over or do something like that. And you could do that with the transitions that we talked about in week 2, I think it was. Okay, and then there's another thing that you can do called, let's see here, it's a list divider. So if I say data role list divider, hold on, I wrote it in. Oh yeah, forgot the little slash there or dash, whatever. Okay, it divides. So you would use these as kind of like headers. You would have the header of all the information, then you'd have all the information down as just normal list items or as links or, whatever you want to do there. Okay, but data role list divider will style it a little bit different, darken it a little bit to make it look more like a header inside of that list. Okay, so ordered lists, I'm going to do a lot of copy and pasting here. Sorry guys, but I just don't want to type out these lists over and over again. And I know you guys don't want a 4-hour video. Okay. That's interesting. It's doing that. Div. If I throw some breaks in there. Huh. Okay. There we go. Instead of that, it'd probably be easier if I just threw in an H2 again and just called it, ordered list. That probably should give us enough room to where it's not going to look weird. Yeah, there we go. So we got the 1, 2, and then we can see with the list divider, it doesn't do a number. It gets rid of the number. Alrighty. Okay, so the next thing we're going to move on to are data filters. I think these are pretty cool. When I saw this, I was like, okay, this is slick. I mean, this is some pretty awesome functionality that it has here that you really don't have to code out at all. So unordered list, we'll do, we got to define it real quick. So we got to do data role again. We got to define it as a list view. But we got to turn on the data filter. So data filter equals true. And then all of the smart stuff that this does is built in. Excuse me. Sorry if that blew your speakers out. So I could throw in some games, right? I could, we got Legend of Zelda, Mario, I don't know, Gears of War, Metal Gear, and of course Overwatch, right? Anyways, throw them in there, save it, show you what it does. So you can see it lists out everything here, okay, but then it gives me this little search box where when I come in here and start clicking, it will search, which is nice. So if I have a list of just a ton of stuff and I want to give people the ability to be able to easily filter through and find what they're looking for, I can do that. So I type in M and it filters out everything except for the things that start with M. That's a pretty awesome functionality that really is built in and that you don't have to do anything for. I really like that. Another thing you can throw in here is data filter placeholder. And it would be kind of what you would expect. So whatever you put inside of there shows in here. So you can give your user some direction there on what they should be doing. Okay, so that's the data filters. So one ordered list and one unordered list. Great, got it. Count bubble. I skipped that. I'm a horrible person. Okay, but then the data filter we just did, so I skipped these two. I gotta hop on there real quick. All right, so I'm gonna copy and paste this because I don't want to take forever. We will say count bubble. So we got list view, right? Actually, no, this is okay. No, it's not. I want an unordered list. I don't want ordered lists anymore. Okay, and I'm gonna get rid of all the filter stuff. Okay. So to have a count bubble, you take something in the list item and you put it inside a span tag and you give it a class of UI-li-count. And then you put the number that you want the count to be inside that count bubble. Save it. And there you go. So this could be used for stores. It could be used for how many comments are in something, right? So you have your thing and then you have the number that you put inside that count bubble. Oh, by the way, another cool functionality I should have talked about in the last movie, but I didn't, is like right here you can see that footer. When I click on the page, it goes away. And then when I click again, it comes back. So that's kind of cool. Good to know about that. And oh my gosh, I'm a horrible teacher. I just forgot about something. So I talked about data position, right? Fixed when you scroll up and down, it doesn't move. There's another one, data full screen. I think equals true. Yeah, really slight change, but you can see how it's kind of see-through. So this is meant to be less invasive. This is meant to be, if the footer's there and you still want people to be able to get an idea or see a little bit of what's still behind it, it just kind of gives it more of a see-through look. So that's just data dash full screen equals true. So sorry I didn't talk about that in the last video. Like I said, horrible teacher. Sorry, guys. Okay, so there's that. We have the count bubble. Okay, and now I want to show you how to do custom icon. So yeah, I guess we could do Mario, right? So we'll throw Mario in there, and I want to have a custom icon for him. So for that, I set up a link. Okay, and then I'm going to throw in the image. I haven't found it yet. I'm going to go out and grab one real quick. So class equals UI dash li dash icon. So that's all you got to do. You got to throw that in there and then throw in the right class and the image tag. So I'm going to come out here. I'll say Mario Mushroom. I think that, no, let's do Mario Coin. That could be cool. So there we go. Hop into images. I like the old school one, so I'll just save that. Okay, I'll call it Coin. All right, there it is. I was going to use this Pac-Man one. Looked pretty cool, but you know, I'm doing Mario stuff, so coins are always great. So image source is going to be coin.png. And something is freaking out. I was just playing around with something because we're just starting to get like dual scroll bars here. It looks like when I did the data full screen true, that kind of flipped it out a little bit. So when I get rid of that, I'm back to the single, which is good. So I don't know. It's just one of those fun things, right? So it's there if you want to use it, but if it kind of destroys everything, then I don't see any reason why to continue, right? All right, so I'm going to come over here, kind of go back to where I was with the thing. So there it is. Okay, there's the coin, and messed up with the closing A tag. See how Mario's down there? That's not good. I want him to be right next to the thing. It's because I closed out of the A tag too quick. Okay, there we go. And of course you can see the borders here, so I would want to open this up in Photoshop, get rid of the white, save it back out as a PNG just so it doesn't look as cheesy. Okay, but you can do that there. I mean, I can use the Pac-Man one, get rid of coin, use the icon that I have there. There it is. And you can see that, I mean, these pictures, it just automatically resizes them. I mean, this is 225 by 225. Same with this picture. The framework just grabs it and automatically knows how big to make it. And so it does that, which is cool. And I don't even think you need to have a link in there. Maybe you do. Yeah, I mean, the link's in there just to throw in the extra icon over there and such, but that's all you got to do really is just throw in an image and give it the class UI li icon, and you're good to go. Okay, so the next one is split buttons. Okay, I'm going to start using this unordered list, I think, many times here. Get rid of the data filter stuff. Okay, so now we just have kind of a normal list again, but this is going to be the split buttons. So what a split button is you have something here, you can have like a link here, and then you have a little button here that you can click that'll give you more information on it. And you'll see what I'm talking about here. So each one of these games has different games under it, right? We got Gears of War to Gears of War 4, I think, and then you got Metal Gear Solid, tons of those. Overwatch, well, you only have the one. But I'm just going to get rid of these three right now. And I could say, you know, I got Zelda, and I have Zelda as my list divider, so I'm going to use that. We kind of already talked about that. Just kind of turns it into a, nope, not translating that. Turns it into kind of a header. Okay, and then if I throw in another list item, and inside that list item I put in 2 links, it knows exactly what to do with it. So href, this isn't going to go anywhere. I could say, you know, Legend of Zelda, we're talking about the first one, so maybe NES. Okay, and then maybe I want to give them a little button that they can click on to get more information about that game. So I can just say more info here. Okay, and let's show you what this does. So it knows to take Legend of Zelda NES and make it a link. Okay, and then the next link that I put in here, it knows to kind of put in as this little more info button. And this, I mean, you can change the icon of this. You can do really whatever you want here, but it's just, you have one link and then you have a link right next to it. So you can click on it to have, I don't know, open another website or whatever you want to do here. But this is how you can have kind of this dual link layout here to be able to do multiple things. And then if I want more of those, like if I wanted one of those for Mario, kind of do the same thing here. Data role. We got list divider again. Just going to copy this here. New Mario, I got Mario Odyssey. That's looking pretty freaking weird. And then we can have a more info as well. So there's Mario, Mario Odyssey, and then the second link right next to it. Okay, so those are called split buttons because you have 2 buttons on the same, I guess the same line, each doing different things, whatever you define there. Okay. Well, I guess I should show you this. I mean, you can do multiples, right? I mean, got Legend of Zelda. We could do Breath of the Wild, which is amazing, by the way. Save that out. Okay, so now we have Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild underneath that little header with their double links here. Okay, cool. So that's split buttons. Let's hop into the last section, and we're going to call it just rich content. This allows you to create a list and just put really anything you want in there. So again, I'm going to grab this just as our starting place. Get rid of the data filter stuff. All right, now in this one, we're going to say data inset is true. I can't, to be honest, the easiest way to explain to you what's going on here is just to show you. This one's a little weird, but you'll see it here in a minute. So let's go with gears and metal gear this time. Okay. So the way this one's set up is we have, I'm going to throw in that divider again. So data role equals list divider. We'll do the same thing with the metal gear. Take a look. Okay. Now you can see data inset equals true did this. It took this list and it kind of shifted it over a little bit and it made the round corners. So this can make your list or whatever kind of pop out a little bit, look like it's coming off the screen a little more with the shadows and the rounded corners and all of that. So that's what the data inset does. Okay, so now come down here, Gears of War. and then I can just put some more information about it. Kind of do a little bit similar to what I did here. I got a list item, and inside it, I'm going to throw in a link. I'm going to put this all inside the link. And I can just start using really almost any tag that I could think of inside of HTML. So I could, have an H4 in here. Gears of War was amazing. Maybe some sort of review. Down here, throw in a P tag. I can style it if I want. Color equals. I always like cadet blue. It's amazing. Font family, Arial. Okay, whatever I want to say there. Say like release date. I have no idea. I'll just say 2000. No, it was like 2005-ish, 3-ish, something like that. We'll pretend that was right. So we can take a look at what's going on here. All right, so because I put this in a link, here, it's given me this, the little button here, and it's doing that, and you can see that the cadet blue and Arial got applied. Now another thing I can do if I want is I can set up a class of UI li aside. Say like rated M. Come down here, and then the aside just kind of shoots it over to the right. So this is stuff that you want to have over on the other side, not in with this other stuff. Okay. Then I just do something similar with Metal Gear. Right, so I can just take this list tag, copy it. This is one assignment where I'm okay with you guys doing a lot of copying and pasting, because I mean a lot of this HTML is basic stuff. It's just taking the basic stuff that you already know and throwing it in this framework in a different way, which I think is pretty cool. So Metal Gear Solid is awesome. Release date, no idea. Geez, it probably in the 90s. It's been around for a long time. It's definitely rated E. So Metal Gear Solid, MGS is awesome, same thing. And there we go, and now I can just start getting a list going on. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at this. We got that. We got the count bubble in there, the custom icon, we're good. Data filter set, yep, with at least 5 items in there. You want to have a good amount of items in there so the filter actually makes sense. The split button, okay, that's the split button here. See, because I mean that's the difference, right? Here, that icon's there, but this whole thing is the link. But here, that's a link, and that's a link. So you got the two. Okay, and then the section that contains rich content with the UI li aside. Okay, so that's the UI li aside, and that's the rich content. Geez, I'm just guessing here, but I could probably throw in a YouTube video in here. He's awesome. Bassist of Less Than Jake. Hit share, we'll go in bed, I'll grab that. I have no idea what's going to happen here. It's going to be fun. Well, yeah, I guess this doesn't really make sense, right? And then the width, I don't know. We'll see what happens if it blows up or not. Yeah, it's kind of big. So I'm wondering if maybe I could say, I don't know if I can do percentages in here. Just get rid of the height. Can't remember doing percentages. Do 100. Yeah, so that works a little bit. Then I'll probably want to define some sort of height. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Anyways, so yeah, there you go, guys. Play around with this, get it all to work, and then once you have all these things down and you're able to do them, then think about the site you're going to build with it. What kind of information you're going to have in these lists, what kind of thing you're going to do with the navigation bar, and so forth. You got 2 weeks to do this, so do something that's halfway cool. If you have any questions on any of this, let me know. But this should be everything you know to do, or this should be everything you need to do the assignment. So good luck, guys. Have an awesome couple weeks. We'll talk to you soon.